Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder again with another AITA story for you, but this one is actually AITB. Am I the butthole? For refusing to take over my wife's household chores. I, 34 male, recently had a heated argument with my pregnant wife, 30 female, and I'm wondering if I'm the asshole here. After a year of trying, my wife is currently 7 months pregnant with our first child. But it hasn't been smooth sailing. She's been dealing with morning sickness, fatigue, and other pregnancy-related challenges. I've been supportive, buying her cravings, and attending all OBGYN appointments. Timeout. That's how he's been supportive. Game on. However, things changed when she started expecting me to do more around the house. I want to clarify that I'm not a misogynist. Timeout. If you have to say, I'm not a misogynist, I don't know that we trust you saying that you're not a misogynist. Game on. I understand that household chores can be shared, but in our household, it's been an arrangement that she handles most of them. I work a demanding full-time job, and I often come home exhausted. However, my wife believes that since she's pregnant, I should take on the majority of the household chores. She insists she needs more rest and less stress for the sake of the baby. I provide for us financially, and I believe that should be enough. The baby would be more affected by growing up in a poverty-stricken home, right? I think it's fair for her to handle most of the chores since she's not working and she's not physically incapable of doing them. I understand she may need naps or breaks due to the pregnancy discomfort, but not doing any chores at all seems excessive. Timeout. It has now progressed from doing the majority of the chores to not doing any chores at all. So him doing 100% of them. Story's changing here, pal. Game on. We had a huge fight the other day when she asked me to do the laundry. I was tired after work and told her it was her responsibility if she wanted it done that night. I explained that I would be willing to help on weekends, but it's not my agreed upon role. She got upset, accusing me of not caring about her or the baby. I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. She claims the baby will suffer if she does housework, which I don't understand. She called me selfish, saying I shirk my responsibilities as a husband and a father. I argued that she was being lazy and expecting too much. That one deserved that. We didn't speak for the rest of the evening. The next day, seeking advice, I talked to friends and family who all sided with me. They said my wife was being unreasonable and taking advantage. They agreed I was already doing enough by providing financially. Feeling validated, timeout. Just to clarify, if going and talking to a bunch of people who are just like you, who already side with you, and have the same opinions on you on everything, if talking to them is where you get validation, your validation's not worth much, bruh. Game on. I confronted my wife and shared what others had said. Timeout.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Sorry, game on. She got angrier, accusing me of twisting the situation to make myself look good. She claimed I was surrounded by biased people who didn't understand her challenges as a woman. I'm frustrated and hurt. I genuinely believe I'm not in the wrong. I work hard to support our family, and we had agreed upon household roles. She never mentioned her pregnancy involving me taking over chores. I fear this will escalate when the baby is born, and I don't have time for that. I think she's being unreasonable and expecting too much. Am I the asshole? He fears it will escalate.
Everybody, he said he fears it will escalate.
Sir, do you know no one who has children? Have you never known any couple who's had a baby? Do you know nothing about what happens? Kind of seeming that way. He's got his own little bubble. His bubbles work. It's like, that's all I can handle. Do not give me anything else. And the world's like, here's a baby. And he's like, no, this is it. This is my bubble right here. This is my bubble. And the world's like, no, dude, you have a baby. And he's like, no, this is it. And his wife's like, hey, I need help. And he's like, no, la, 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 my bubble, I live here. And the world is like, here's a baby. Things change when you have children. They just do. They get way more complicated, and the need for the team approach is greater than ever. It no longer shouldn't have ever been a tit for tat, keeping score, chore chart kind of family for spouses here, but it was okay. Now it can't be. It can't be. And as a father, if you are the sole financial provider, guess what? Now you're more too, man. Everybody's job description just changed. Not just yours. Everybody's. Your wife's changed big time. Big time. Unless you want to plan on carrying this child, you better start doing some chores and helping out around the house in ways that you never thought you would have to before, because guess what? You're right. this will escalate, and you're going to be doing more of them. And the sooner you can get over yourself and get your ass in gear and start working, the sooner that you guys can start attacking this as a team instead of just butting heads and thinking about only yourself and your little bubble that you're trying to protect. And the sooner that you can actually start enjoying this process of having a child. You got to get out of the way, man. You got to get the ego out of the way. You have to, because the world said, here's a baby. And you guys have been trying for a long time. So this is not something that just dropped into your lap accidentally. This is something that you were trying for. Rent came due, bro. Time to get to work. Candy Thunder left some of the top comments for us here. Here's one. Johnny here thought he'd have a baby and his life would stay exactly the same. It's his wife's job to do the extra work. Yeah. We had agreed upon job descriptions. When were these agreed upon, by the way? When, bro? Like, when did you create a chore chart with your wife? It may work for some people, sure, but now, like, a pregnancy rewrites that whole book, man. You don't get to carry anything forward. Everything changes. Everything. Literally everything. The shoes that you plan on wearing through your house will change. You will find shoes that are quieter. Everything will change. You'll start watching shows with captions on and the volume really low. Things that you never thought would change are about to change. Comment number 2. Where did this incredibly busy man find the time? It's almost as if throwing in a load of laundry would have taken 1/10 of the time he spent bitching and moaning. And think about this. Not only did he do that with her, then he wrote a freaking post about it. Could have done 2 loads of laundry in that amount of time. 3rd, you're the asshole. She never mentioned her pregnancy involving me taking over chores. I fear this will escalate when the baby is born, and I don't have time for that. It's just quoting him. It's saying you're the asshole. And finally, 4, it's not on her to mention something as basic as that you might have to help your highly pregnant wife with things. If you don't have time for that, I don't think you understand what it means to have a child. It's not just an additional chore to add to your wife's day. This guy, I mean, you guys know how I feel by this point, but this is an absolute ASCON 1 human being, and he's going to have to turn this shit around and quick, because this outlook that he has is entirely self-absorbed. And that has to change when you have a kid. You still need to care about yourself, obviously, but you can't come first to you anymore. You can't. You have to start putting your child first, your family first, for every decision that you make. Every single one. And if you can't say that you're putting your family first, you're doing something wrong. Now, his defense here about financially providing, and yes, it would be inconvenient if your kid didn't have your income and ended up homeless living on the street. That's also an extreme example here. The point is, that's not enough. You can't just be a financial provider, even if you were making bazillions of dollars at work and paying for nannies and maids to do all the shit at home that you didn't want to do. If you're not actively involved in your kid's life, you are failing. Haven't you seen Schitt's Creek? They didn't even know their kids until they were forced into poverty. It creates a gap, and I understand it's really difficult for people, who are forced with that situation where their lives or their businesses or whatever it is forces them to enlist the help of nannies and that kind of thing. But I guarantee you they still are doing everything they can to make the effort to be involved. You have to be involved. It's the involvement that's the big deal. So you can look at that as a chore, or you can look at this as stepping up. And the fact that you look at it as a chore is the problem. That is the thing that needs to change. You're an ASCON 1, dude. Turn it around quick. Or this is all going to be very difficult for you. And here's the other deal. He can check out of his job. He clocks out or goes home. You know what I mean? That's when his job ends. Hers is 24/7. If he wants to strap on the baby, take over once he walks in the door. Once they have a kid, guess what? When he gets home from work, he's going to have shit to do.